So one of the core tenets, if you will, one of the fundamentals of the plan is, and this is dramatic, I know, just like the compensation element of it, is it's about control. Who's controlling who and where the power lies. And the structure as it's set up now, as it's been forever, is that we elect people to go make decisions on our behalf. Now, what's happened over the course of the last 4 years in the Republican Party and with government in general is that the decision makers that we're sending, whether it's at the state, the county, city level, of course the federal government, not only are they potentially compromised people that don't have the, let's say, the guts or the ability or the cojones to stand strong for their principled beliefs and their character, as well as the people that supposedly they are a reflection of. So if they no longer become a reflection of the people that voted them in there, and they're making deals with either other influences, people on, let's say, on the other side of the aisle that don't have our best interests, that don't align with the principles and the agenda and the ideals that we sent them there to represent us for, then those people can no longer be trusted. And that's the big thing, is we have a serious trust problem within the Republican Party. And that's why, even if it's a philosophical shift on a voluntary basis right now, we need to pull the power back from these elected officials. We need to take back control of them rather than them having ultimate control over us. So it's as simple as they're not the decision makers anymore. Okay? They're the administrators. So whatever policies or agendas are being driven at the legislative level, the lawmaking level, they, in a sense, become the organizer of the information, the administrator of the information. Then they have the authority to make the decision. However, they don't have the authority to make the decision without the consent of the people, of the voters. So we need to demand that they incorporate some sort of feedback loop, in some sort of apparatus designed so they can, with data, with broad data, with actual feedback that supports whatever decision, that guides their decision-making process, that in alignment with the voters who put them there. So whatever we can come up with to create that apparatus, they then essentially become the facilitator of the message and the information. The voter then decides on what that policy that they're trying to implement is, whether it's good for them or not. And then the decision maker, the leader, can take that information and they can say, well, based on this specific data that is direct feedback from my constituents, this is the direction we're going to go. And then they have the the decision becomes easy for them. And the result becomes a positive result for the people, because they say, look, we gave our feedback. We endorsed this direction. And, if it's 50-50, if it's 60-40, there's a metric there that says, look, the majority of voters wanted this. So we're going that direction. And that guarantees us that we have skin in the game, that we're in the room for the decision making. So, and that's the whole idea, is transparency. So we're pulling out there's no more ability for them to just do backdoor deals before it's too late. We have these policies come down, mask mandates and all this other stuff that we're seeing with COVID. business shutdowns, business lockdowns, essential business termination, all this stuff that is, these people get hit from multiple different directions and influenced from multiple different directions that don't necessarily align with what the people actually want. So it's not stripping decision-making powers away from them, it's putting us in the room with the decision makers so that we can have a say in how they actually govern us. And if they're not willing to do that, if they're not willing to allow us to participate, then it just says, what does it say about their character? It says they can't be trusted. And that's the problem. So we had deceivers, infiltrators, people who will come in and pretend to be one thing and end up being another thing. The Republican Party in a lot of deep red districts has that problem in a big way right now. The Democrats are coming with every sinister, diabolical plan and plot that they can come up with, and they are trying to infiltrate this party. And then there's just the straight up rhinos, and we need to flush all that out. We take back a little bit of the control, and we put the pressure on them to continue to do the right thing. And hey, they get rewarded after that. So it's citizen-based decision making. That's one of the pillars of our program at What's Your Plan, and we need to start demanding these shifts. We need to make these changes and demand this of our leaders. Again, we don't have time to waste. The left is moving so fast in this country and around the globe, and they've got so much money and so much influence behind them. Media, the education system, they're trashing our religious institutions. They're destroying God. I mean, they're just totally taking over. And if we have weak-kneed, unprincipled Republicans who can't stand up and make the right decisions and just shut them out and stand for America, if we can't know that, if we can't get a guarantee that that's going to happen, we have to implement something that allows us to hedge our bets better. So we need to do stuff like this. Citizen-based decision making.